Okay guys, I've got great news for you. I'm so excited and you should be too, because this is the first ever episode of the ID Awards. Now, I know I sound a bit insane right now, but I am so hyped for this show, and I hope that you will like it too. And please comment whether you do. If you like this, say. If you don't, we won't do another episode. Because this is a pilot, so you can have your say on whether the actual show ever happens.
Say in the comments below or on iduniverse.weebly.com, where we will look through our contact form entries and find out whether you guys want it or not.
Hi.
Hi. Yes.
I was serious about the rock in the car earlier. Come back.
A rock and a car.
Yes. Look.
A rock. Right, not going to ask. It's probably something relevant that I don't even know.
It actually is very relevant.
Is it,
yes,
is it
it's relevant to this episode.
Oh, okay. Well then, shall we get on with it?
Yes, we
okay.
shall.
We have 3 rounds: the show, the toys, and the films, which will hopefully apply to every other episode. It may not, I don't know, it may differ, the structure. You guys could also suggest ways that you want the show to be presented if you like. So we've got that. We've also got another bonus round which may not be included in future, round 4, where we give extra points to total it up to other stuff and give bonuses. So,
and on today's episode, we have 2 of the greatest shows of all time, the GoBots
and
versus the Transformers!
Yes. 2 brilliant shows that actually correspond quite well alongside each other. Transformers kind of nicked the idea of GoBots, and that before that started off in another show when they came from there, and then
Machine Robo.
Machine Robo, and then those minor characters had their own show, and then Transformers decided, hey, you know what, we're gonna steal everything, and stole their idea.
And then bought them out.
Yeah, bought them out, and then just made sure that they never existed, or at least.
Well, there is a Transformers GoBots line, but it's for little kids, and it's basically Transformers toys, only made really simple.
Yeah.
Under Transformers characters. However, as sort of an homage to their fallen originality, the GoBots, there have been toys made of Transformers with an homage to the GoBots, so like made to look like a certain GoBot.
And due to their originality, obviously being the first show, there we go. There's our first points awarded of IDAwards. The round 1, the show, criteria number 1 is originality, which obviously GoBots is the original show. So that's they get 5 ID points for that, and I think that's going to be the highest we award. So
possibly,
thumbs up to you, GoBots,
it's
for
very
being
deserved,
the original.
though.
Yes, very, yeah. So,
potential.
yes.
Which had the most potential? Definitely GoBots.
Yes,
From the start, they had the most potential, although it didn't really work out for them, but at the beginning, they had more potential than Transformers.
And obviously, Transformers were then kind of being more expensive and kind of covering them up and pretending that they didn't exist.
Yeah.
But they had the original potential, and it's a shame that, in a way, that Transformers kind of got rid of them, didn't they?
It would have been great to have seen a live-action movie of the GoBots, and maybe even a spin-off movie of both franchises where we see GoBots versus Transformers in live-action film.
Yes, and we will talk more on that subject of live-action, etc. in round 3 about films. So, their potential, I think GoBots definitely had huge potential right from the start. 4 ID points to you. So, now, overall, Transformers were the more successful franchise as they kind of overpowered them.
Definitely.
So you can get 3 ID points for overcoming the GoBots, and now you are the most successful franchise.
However, names.
Yes.
Which gets the more better names? Which has the more clever, ingenuitive, inventive names?
Well, Transformers. We have
Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime and Megatron, the leaders of the Autobots and Decepticons.
And for the GoBots.
We have
Leader 1, the leader of the Guardians, which is the equivalent to
the Autobots.
The Autobots.
Yeah, so the leader of the Guardians.
Leader 1.
Leader 1. It works, but it's a bit simple. And,
yes.
And not
They didn't
exactly,
really think about it, did they?
No. So that was one minor setback on their creativity, but I think everything else they were very creative about.
Yes.
But for names, they
Not
don't,
so.
No. So Transformers get that ID point there. But alternate modes, they did get quite creative there.
Yeah.
As in,
However,
I think I realised how those figures tied in that you showed me. The Rock. The Rock.
you thought it was just a rock, didn't you?
It's a GoBot.
It is a Rock Lord from the GoBots movie, Battle of the Rock Lords.
There you go. Who knew rocks transform or convert? So converting rocks, genius, massive creativity there, but not exactly the most practical or.
Well, it's a good way to be
good,
stealthy,
yes,
because no one's going to expect you
a
if
rock.
you're a rock.
Yeah, but then again, I think the cars, and it's more constant throughout. I mean, in Transformers Age of Extinction, we had the Dinobots, and they were like, well, we were kind of expecting a massive car. But then it turned out to be dinosaurs. But I mean, the cars and vehicles and all sorts, and planes and everything, they've been kind of constant throughout. So it's something that you can kind of latch onto as a Transformers fan. Then obviously the Dinobots, when they come in, it's kind of like a surprise. It's like, oh yay, it's not a vehicle for once.
Similar to Astro Train and things like that, because trains haven't been big in the Transformers universe. They've had a few on a few series, but it's not one of their main things, which disappoints me because I'm a lover of trains, more so than cars and everything. But when they do have trains on the show, it's actually usually more interesting for me personally than the trucks and everything, because I can just connect with the character more.
Yeah, definitely. And one slight problem with their alternate modes, G1, Megatron. Excuse me, massive Decepticon pistol. He transforms into a pistol.
We're not going to argue.
Not going to argue with that logic. We'll come back to that later. But I think overall, alternate modes Transformers get that ID point. Weapons. This is genius. The GoBots, their weapons.
This. A fist. Shoots lasers. Who knew?
Who knew? Transformers, you get all these ion cannons, and
it works.
It does. That is, it actually works. Okay, so they could do it in live action, which we will come to later. But I think the fact that they're not exactly too practical, that would be why they haven't had a live
However,
action.
if they were going through border control, they wouldn't get stopped for carrying weapons.
No, they wouldn't, because it's them. So there you go. But Transformers, they have all these ion cannons and
battle blades, they've got fusion cannons, they've got ion cannons, all sorts of different imaginative names for weapons, which look very, very cool.
Yeah.
And the way they design the weapons as well, they're very creative on the actual aesthetic design.
Yeah. So for that, Transformers, you get another ID point. Now, over time, this is the legacy of the show in a way. How long, or the quality of it over time.
And if it actually follows a pattern, so if the show or shows actually follows one another, continuity is a very important factor.
Linear plot structure as well, making sure that everything is constant throughout. Transformers haven't exactly done too well there.
They haven't grasped that one. They don't get it. They were told about linear plots, and they were like, does that mean linear? Does that mean do whatever we want on any show we want that doesn't contradict with the previous show?
Yeah. but they contradicted everything, especially the Michael Bay films. You couldn't
We'll
get
get
any
to that
worse than
later.
yeah. But so yeah, I think over time, GoBots were the more constant. They get 3 ID points for that. Timeless features, what allowed it to be constant throughout time and allowed them to be.
Yeah,
become
I'm going
that
to stop
legacy.
you right there. This point has to go to Transformers.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go out and say it because they are timeless, because they have experienced the test of time, and they have battled through it and won.
Yes,
They have beaten the test of time.
They've been around for decades now, and they're still popular. They're still
30 years.
Yes, 30 years anniversary this year, and with Transformers: Age of Extinction, it's a massive blockbuster that everyone's excited to see. So they've still triumphed even after 3 decades of being around and being so awesome. In fact, so they definitely have a Transformers point, an ID point for that being
Absolutely.
having those timeless features. Enthusiasm though, I think, well, if we think of the shows and their theme tunes, you got Transformers, robots in disguise.
It's a very memorable theme
It's
tune,
good,
but it's
yeah.
not enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic would be more like
The GoBots!
Yes,
They literally open.
massive emphasis on
They literally open their show with just the words "the GoBots" in a really crisp, deep voice,
Yes.
repeated at you several times over, so you know
Yes.
that's what you're watching.
Yes. So you definitely get 2 points for enthusiasm there, GoBots. That's brilliant. 2 ID points to you. And finally, for the last piece of criteria, the plot.
Okay.
Yes.
Neither team really gets this because both are rubbish with actual keeping to plots. However, we're giving GoBots a minus point on this one. -1 because their plot, there was barely any.
Yeah.
There wasn't really that big of a plot.
Although, as we said earlier, it was constant. It's constant. Its continuity. They work with each other because they didn't really have anything that interfered. So the fact that they didn't really have much plot. Transformers, they have stuff that engages you in it. Obviously, the theme tune is brilliant, which is why GoBots got the other one. But for Transformers, I mean, they're the things that are brilliant, that would make you want to watch it, is the plots and the devices that they have.
Backstories and everything. Like, well, at least they both gave us a good backstory on where they came from, their home planets. Like, the GoBots had Gobatron, Transformers have Cybertron. You can see where Transformers stole Gobatron to Cybertron.
Yes.
They didn't exactly change it much, did
No.
they?
But
Just
I
put
mean,
Cyber rather than Goba.
So Transformers, for having that plot, I think they're fine there. Okay, we'll leave them how they are. They've got those points so far. But GoBots, I think, well, there wasn't really much plot to it. So I'm sorry, we're gonna have to knock you down a point there.
Stop! Have time!
Okay,
That's the
round
end of
2.
Yes,
Toys.
round 2.
Already? We're already at round 2.
Already at round 2. So attention to detail in these figures. The aesthetics and appearance is what we'll come on to, but the detail is what is vital.
Accuracy to the show.
Yeah, definite.
And this is definitely Transformers.
It's gotta be.
GoBots were never accurate to the show.
They
were just...
I may put
The toys and the show, they were sort of 2 different things with GoBots. The toys never looked anything like the show.
Whereas Transformers, they were about making money out of commercial products, and they wanted it accurate so people would go to them rather than GoBots.
Well, I mean, with Transformers, the show was to sell the toys.
Yeah.
So, of course, the show was going to be accurate to the toys and vice versa, because they wanted people to attach to these characters and then go out and buy them.
Yeah. So I think Transformers, you get the ID point for that. Aesthetics and appearance, as I just said, this is the second criteria now. Again,
Transformers. 2 ID points.
2 ID points. I think GoBots are kind of falling behind here because bonus features on toys, obviously, as we mentioned earlier, all the weapons and everything, GoBots have none of. So
Transformers 2.
Yeah. So
2 ID points.
They're kind of falling behind a bit, aren't they? They also have this special
However,
feature.
they do have features on the original Transformers and
Yes.
some of the new ones called Reveal the Shield, which I
Mhm.
really loved, where I don't know if you can see,
Put it close
but
to the camera.
there's a little shield here, and you would rub that shield, and it would reveal whether they were Autobot or Decepticon,
Yeah.
which I really like.
It's a nice feature, little bonus feature that they included there. And also immediate quality of figures. It's not about how long they last, it's how they are when you get them and how they look. That's
Yeah.
what we're on about with immediate quality. I think, again, I'm sorry, GoBots, you just,
Transformers.
Transformers get 2 ID points for that, for being immediate quality as you get it. It's brilliant.
However,
Evolutionary quality, that is an entirely different.
yeah,
Yeah.
through time, with the evolution of both shows,
Yes.
GoBots definitely beat Transformers by miles, because Transformers, the quality has decreased over
Yeah.
time, whereas GoBots, it was a constant, steady...
For however long they lasted, which it wasn't particularly long era, but during that time they remained constant with everything, with their show, with minor plot devices that they may include, and with their figures as well. They were constant with the quality that they provided. So evolutionary quality, linear production in a way. They were constant throughout. They had what you wanted, and you knew what you were to expect. So 3 ID points to GoBots,
which they really deserve.
Yes, so they get 1 more than the previous criteria, Transformers being immediate quality, because it's more important, I believe, to have constant throughout, so you know
Yeah,
what you're going to get, and
definitely.
it's going to be good quality. So
Diecast
diecast as well. Their quality. This is GoBots here. GoBots had diecast figures, and
Absolutely.
although
Practically all
Transformers-
of them.
although
Fully diecast.
Yes, although Transformers eventually they won the franchise from them, I think the fact that they got it was because they were providing cheaper materials and everything, but they were able to sell more, and then they were able to overpower them. But the quality that you got from GoBots, it's a shame.
Even though it was cheaper than Transformers,
Mm.
it was...
better quality.
Better quality.
Die-cast metal. It was.
I mean, you got die-cast metal
Mm.
on Transformers, like
Yeah.
this one I've got here,
Yeah. But
Dead End.
even more so
but
than GoBots.
very little die-cast. You can see that's the only bit there
That's-
in
yeah.
the chest.
Yeah.
And with GoBots, it was practically the whole figure.
Yes. So.
And with all of their figures.
Yeah. So that's 3 more ID points to you, GoBots. So,
And they never use die-cast in modern Transformers,
Yes.
so...
and as we mentioned earlier, the immediate quality of the figures and the aesthetics and appearance and attention to detail, it's all accurate to the show. So I guess this next criteria, number 7 of this round, would be accuracy. Transformers also get that point there. Durability, being kids' toys perhaps, they're playing about with them. Yeah, so
This is definitely
Yeah.
where Transformers beat GoBots. One of the reasons I think they were more expensive is they were a lot more long-lasting. Transformers last the test of time
Yeah.
and beyond.
yes, which is why, so they get a point for that, and also I think for durability as well. They get a couple of points for that, because
So 2 ID points.
yes, 2 ID points. So scale. Now we mentioned scale earlier with
Yeah.
Megatron
Yeah.
being the pistol.
Yeah,
not gonna ask
Transformers
where that
never
logic
got
comes from.
scale.
No.
Never.
No.
They don't understand
Yes.
scaling.
That's logical scaling, being big and then small, but then also figures in comparison with others. They would never the same size, and they wouldn't correspond.
Yeah.
So
So
that again,
GoBots
that goes
were
to
always
GoBots.
to scale,
Yes.
so GoBots.
Yeah, 2 points, 2 ID points to get to GoBots. And to complete this round, we will talk about accessories. Now, weapons and all sorts on Transformers, GoBots, that. So again, we're coming back to, well, before we had the bonus features, which was Reveal the Shield. This time it's about the weapons mainly, and it's the fact that, yeah, GoBots just didn't have any of it. So that's 2 points, 2 ID points to Transformers.
Stop. Have time.
So round 3 now with films. Now, the film success overall, the most films came from Transformers, didn't they? In the end.
Yes, definitely.
Battle of the Rock Lords was that was GoBot's only film, wasn't it?
Their only ever
Their
film.
only
yeah.
film, yes. The others, obviously, you got Transformers the movie, which was released about the same time with
Then
G1.
you've got Transformers, Beast Hunters, Predacons Rising.
Yes.
You've got all the Michael Bay
Bay's
films.
So
all 4.
Yes. So their film success overall, it was more overwhelming than GoBots originally. So Transformers get 3 ID points for that. Continuity throughout their films, as we mentioned earlier.
Not very successful when it comes to continuity with Michael Bay.
Yes.
So
we're not gonna
minus a
point.
point. Minus
So
a
there you
point
go.
for Transformers.
Sorry.
Continuity is important when
Yes.
it comes to filmmaking. Michael Bay, you should be ashamed.
Yes. So realism. How real the figures were to the show. Now, Transformers.
Definitely realistic.
Yes, definitely.
100%. So
3 ID
3.
points to you. Explosions.
Yay!
Yay! Explosions.
Yes!
Yay!
Transformers, Michael Bay, obvious, gonna have a lot of explosions. So
he seems to be
Transformers, 2 points.
2 points. Yes. Now, logical. So when it comes to logical transformations or conversions, Transformers don't exactly have the upper hand there.
No.
To be fair, the Transformers G1 movie, you got Megatron. He's a massive Decepticon, and then he's a pistol.
Yeah.
So, doesn't exactly
Yeah.
work. So you know what? Yeah, we're gonna give points to GoBots for that. 3 ID points to you. So, live action. Now,
GoBots didn't do that,
No.
so obviously it's going to be
that's
Transformers.
gonna go to Transformers. It's a shame that GoBots didn't have live action. Because I
Although
think it
we
would
can
be-
wish
We can. We've got a new director coming in. For
the next Transformers films, and apparently
He's a fan of
classic Transformers
So-
and a long-lasting fan. So,
Yeah, so
we may
perhaps
get a
we might
G1
bring in
film.
G1, yes.
Yay!
How they'll do the fist laser thing in real life, I don't know. They may use special effects or whatever, but I think it would be really good if we could get.
Yeah. What would be good is if this director made both a G1 film and
Yes.
a GoBots film.
Yes,
That would be
that
epic.
would be brilliant.
And
Or
combine
bring
the
them together.
two.
Yes, that would be genius. I think there's some people on YouTube who've made some videos like that, just compressed a few together and made their own versions,
there
which I think
is
it would be
a,
brilliant if that was brought into
GoBots
live
versus Transformers
action. Yes.
YouTube video, 2
Yeah.
parts that
Yeah.
we enjoyed very
Yes.
much.
If you're that YouTuber, thumbs up to you, because that was actually brilliant editing. I loved it. So we get 2 points to Transformers for live action, because obviously GoBots never had any. So creativity though, we've said this throughout. GoBots are definitely the more creative side.
Yes, they were.
For many reasons, some of which we've mentioned. Some reasons though, they're just insane. So they get 3 points for creativity and another for just plain insanity. So, although to be insane, this is a saying I've heard, I can't remember where, but to be insane, you must have a brain. So ingenuity of plot. Although they didn't really have much plot, the plot that they did have was genius. So we're giving you a point for that, GoBots. So, character backstories though. We had some of that in GoBots. We had the previous film.
Yep.
That told us a bit about them. They were minor characters in that. But I think Transformers, we've had the main backstories, especially this round being films. We've heard about Sam Witwicky and his life, and also in Transformers Age of Extinction, we've heard a bit about the backstory of the
However,
dad and
it
the
did
previous-
contradict the previous films.
It did quite a bit, but we have been given those character backstories, which is quite nice. So we're going to give Transformers 3 points for that, because we think, yeah, we appreciate that.
Okay, so that's
So
the end.
that's the end of round 3. Those are the end of all rounds. But we're going to
However,
give a bonus round.
a bonus round, round 4, stats.
Yeah, statistics of, well, basically popularity. Overall, Transformers were the more popular franchise, which is why
Yeah.
they succeeded.
So five
ID points for that, so because that's quite good actually coming out on top.
Memorability again,
Obviously.
Transformers.
Yes, 5 ID points again, so they're going up now.
Classicness.
So I think we need to give some to
GoBots.
GoBots. There you go. So 3 points to GoBots, and for relevance, era of origin, when it begun, it was definitely relevant to its audience there. So another 3 ID
GoBots.
points to GoBots. Now, yeah, we just gave 2 lots of 5 ID points to Transformers. I think we should
pity
yeah.
GoBots. So just
for pity, have 4 ID points for that.
So
now explosion time. Yeah. Yes, we're going to give a ton of bonuses. The random bonus obviously goes to Transformers for being random, and we're just giving out a random bonus because we feel like it.
Yes.
The largest combo bonus, actually, according to the table of where they've got the scores from, this is going to work in other shows. Hopefully, if we decide it works out, or if you guys want it, basically the show or whatever we're comparing that has the largest amount of points within one round then gets the largest combo bonus as well, so that's an extra 5 ID points on top of that. Now that goes to GoBots.
The just for being awesome
for being awesome bonus goes to Transformers because it's an awesome show, and just because we need a bonus goes to
GoBots.
There we go. So the points have been counted and independently verified by ID, and once entirely collated in a table in a linear fashion, the results are as follows. Congratulations, Transformers! You have our approval of simply being awesome and have won this award from ID. I will now present the guest of honour to our show, Michael Bay. Obviously, in this incarnation.
Hello.
There you go. You have an invisible trophy.
Thank you. I'll keep it.
You can have that rock.
No.
Fine. You know what? We've been doing this show, but we've been missing out on the party stuff of ID's 4 years. So let's go. Let's go to that party.
I kind of forgot about the party.
Yes.
We've
Let's go
been here for a while.
Yeah.
Let's go.